Going to my railway, Bedstead Junction. It's about 8 minutes past 9 and it's March the 10th. Still in lockdown, obviously. And we've got a new arrival today. In fact, there's some new coaches I've got from eBay, and they're on the track now behind Lorna Doone over there. And we'll have a look at them. They're called clerestory coaches. Now, I'm very, very lucky to get these in the condition they were in. I think the boxes are perfect. There's the brake coach that forms the rear of the train. R123. And there's two just like this. R122 GWR clerestory composite coach. And there's the other box. Just arrived today. And we'll have a look and see how these are different to the regular coaches we've been using on the railway. And we'll just take a look at that now. Let's see now. A bit of power to the train. You get this locomotive to gather at speed nice and gradually. Once it's off the curve, it should pick up speed nicely. There we are. So that's our GWR Dean single Lorna Doone with the correct carriages to go with it. These are also designed by William Dean. And we'll show you the two carriages, and you probably saw how different they look from each other. Those are the regular GWR carriages behind our 440 County of Devon, and these are called clerestory coaches. The reason being, they've got on the extra area there in the roof with extra windows, and that's to let light in, and also that's where they will put the gas lamps. These carriages were actually lit by gas. We'll bring it round just a second, just have a quick look. Now what we're going to do is I think we'll bring her into the station and we'll be able to have a closer look at her on the coaches. Let's take a look here first. Right, so we can see Lorna Doone, our Dean single there, and the coaches behind. You can imagine what kind of sight that would have made it somewhere like Paddington Station, where someone was about to travel to the West Country. And back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, travelling by rail would be about as fast as anyone were ever likely to go. Most people didn't have cars. Cars were still a luxury owned by very few people. So most people, if they wanted to travel at speed, would travel by train. And what we'll do now, we're coming up near to the signal. We'll just stop at the signal and we'll quickly change the points, and we'll bring the train in and have a nice closer look at it. I love these single wheelers. They seem to glide along the track. Lorna Doone. Lorna Doone, obviously being the legend of Lorna Doone, it was a book written in the late 1800s, a romantic story which took place on Exmoor, or at least it used all the locations on Exmoor, and this would have attracted people to Exmoor to see the locations featured in the book, and obviously it must have been a fantastic thing to be taken to the West Country on such a locomotive as this, called Lorna Doone. Now beyond this is County of Devon. That's a 440. These are more or less different developments of the express railway locomotive. It was always thought that the single wheeler would be the express locomotive. Thought that the single wheel arrangement was best for high speeds. And coupled engines may be used for freight, but that was all changed with the arrival of 440 locomotives and 460s, like the County of Devon. That's just beyond. These locomotives here were out of use or taken out of service by about 1915. The coaches carried on though beyond then. Now that's called clerestory coach, or clerestory, some people call them. You can see you've got the extra space in the roof to accommodate the gas lamps, and you've got the extra little windows there along the top there. You can see what a beautiful carriage, all in chocolate and cream. If you're going to be modelling the Great Western, then obviously chocolate and cream would be the favourite coach, at least for me, at least. You can see the difference. You can see the difference between the two coaches there. And the different profile of the roof. Okay, so that's our Dean single. Now what we're going to do is we'll have a look at some other locomotives tonight as well. We'll have a quick look at our 440 and the other locomotives as well. But we'll just bear with just a moment. And we're going to go across to the station here, because we don't very often get close up to the station here. Sorry about the shadow. Now here we've got an 042 tank engine, complete with an auto coach in at the station, and also a small Prairie. That's a 262 wheel arrangement, and again a pair of lovely chocolate and cream coaches there, and then behind there the auto coaches in maroon, which is the colour that would have been used in BR days. See our little passengers there on the station there. Now I think what we're going to do, because they're new coaches today, I was going to give a run to some of the other trains in this video, but I think we're going to give Lorna Doone another run. If I can drive right for the station. Now, there we are. Let's come out of the station beautifully. Okay. Now one of the things we do find with these single wheelers, certainly with the model, is that it didn't come with traction tyres. And we do get a little bit of wheel slip on these. I am tempted to add traction tyres to this locomotive, or some form of extra traction, just to stop the wheels from spinning. You see it's running quite well now. That's our lovely new clerestory coaches. They come under various numbers. I mean, this is R122 and R123, and judging by the packaging, this would have probably been from about the 1980s, I would guess. Somebody would probably be able to correct me on that. Now, one thing which I like about some of these older Hornby locomotives and carriages, not recommended for children under 36 months, 3 years of age. So these coaches at the time were for anyone 3 years of age and upwards. So that to me is a good thing, bringing people into the hobby at a young an age as possible. I think probably there's been a lot of more features put on health and safety, and also locomotives were we're going to be a little bit more detailed in the future, and so I think now on some of the boxes it tells you not to allow people under the age of 14 to play with these trains, which I think is a shame really, because these, after all, I mean, they may be models, I mean, they're beautiful models and I love them, but they're also meant to be played with, which is something I'm doing right now. One thing you might have heard a second ago was a notification coming on my phone. I'm going to try and get rid of the notifications in just a moment. But there's our Lorna Doone, happily going around the track. Now, I don't know how long it's been since these coaches were actually in use. I'm tempted probably just to put a small drop of oil on the wheels, just to free them up a little bit, see if it frees them up a little. Because in reverse I'm experiencing just a little bit of wheel spin with my Dean single here. That obviously, with the single, there's only a single pair of driving wheels, and that's obviously giving less grip on the track than what you would say get with one of these. And in fact, the model of this, at least, the County of Devon, is being fitted with traction tyres, and so you try and pull it along the track, look, and it's dead still. You'll see how well it's gripping the track with the traction tyres. You don't get the same grip when you don't have traction tyres. Obviously, on a real locomotive, you would have a very, very heavy locomotive, which will then be able to grip the tracks just due to its pure weight. Right, so we're about 13-14 minutes into this video now. So we're going to give something else a little run tonight. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a little run with, and talk about a locomotive we haven't featured too often on my railway, and that's a small prairie. Now we're going to bring her into the station again. So we stopped up at the signal there, and we're going to bring her into the station. There we go. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And let's have a nice look along the train. Gorgeous, look at that. Now we're going to change the points over. So that's switched back to the main line now. And we just check the points are okay for our small prairie. And you can certainly hear the approach of this locomotive. No mistaking the sound of this locomotive. I might give it a little bit more oil in, because I don't think it's had any oil for about 6 months. We'll just switch the points over and give her a run. Now, whereas these locomotives here were meant for expresses, this was meant for branch lines. And I'll explain to you why it was more suited to branch lines in just a moment. Now, it's a little bit noisier than a modern locomotive, simply because it's made certainly before 2004. It's made by a manufacturer called Lima, and it was a company that stopped trading in 2004. An Italian company that made British engines. There were larger versions of these on the Great Western Railway. This is the small prairie. Now, what I would say about these locomotives would certainly come under certain criticism if they were released today in the form they're in now. Some people have said that the locomotives were a little bit proportionally tall, and also the motor goes into the cab. There's not any cab detail because the motor occupies a large part of the cab, but they're really nice little models. I mean, I quite like them. They're quite attractive, really. And if you wanted to buy a prairie tank locomotive, or certainly a small prairie, then you'll be paying quite expensive just for a second-hand one. I've noticed that certainly with a lot of modern railway stuff, that since the lockdown, the prices have been going through the roof for certain trains. I picked this one up for about 35 quid, if I remember rightly. Excuse me. And that was I mean, compared to what you would pay for a new one, I mean, you would pay well over £100, maybe £150 for a brand new one. And I was quite fortunate to pick this one up at the beginning of the lockdown when there were quite a lot of them out there in good condition. It ran straight out of the box, and it's not giving me any real trouble. Small prairie. Use on branch lines because of the water tanks in the coal. Obviously these engines here have got tenders, so the water and the coal are carried separately, whereas with these, the coal and the water is all contained within the locomotive. So what would probably happen is our intrepid travellers would certainly be on the express locomotives to the mainline stations, and then when they transferred over to a branch line station, almost certainly a locomotive similar to this would have been waiting for them, or one of the smaller tank engines like the 14XX, which is up in the other station. Now we'll just take a close look at this one. There we are. So you can see 262 arrangement. Nice, as in BR black. A lot of locomotives were painted in black instead of green from the Great Western Railway. You can see the water tanks are here on each side of the boiler, and then there's a small bunker behind the cab where the coal is actually kept. So obviously these were meant for shorter journeys, because they would obviously need to be filled up with water more frequently and with coal. I come around here now, you can see the difference between the different types of coaches. I think these are Collett design coaches, Charles Benjamin Collett, so these would have come out after 1923, my guess is. These were William Dean's, so these would have been probably the late 1800s, the clerestory coaches. I think they look very, very elegant. In fact, I like all of the chocolate and cream coloured coaches. I think chocolate and cream kind of gives you sort of a feeling of what the West Country is all about. And you can see before nationalisation, they would have carried the wording Great Western, and certainly these locomotives were in green. Compared to the black, which was given to our small prairie tank locomotive in BR days. But there we are, that's two locomotives you've seen running tonight, my little running session. We're going to break things off now. In fact, what you will see is our locomotive going into the station. Coming round to us now. We'll stop her just before the junction. Change the points away from the main line. And away we go. Okay, so there we are. So we're now back in the station there. And thank you very much for watching. Now I'm going to break things up now because we've run into 23 minutes on this. But I wanted to show you my, at least let you see my my new coaches here, in all their late Victorian elegance. Coupled up with the correct locomotive for it, the Dean single, Lorna Doone. And then, obviously tonight we've not seen the 14XX running, or the county. But that's in other videos, and obviously something for future videos. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. And if you like what you see, press the like button and subscribe if you wish to see more videos, and press the bell button, and you'll get to know when new videos are coming out from me. I will be buying more stuff from here, and certainly I'm hoping to carry on with my railway beyond the lockdown. Okay, so thanks very much, and thanks for watching, and good night.